Good evening and welcome to the FiTT Show, financial information for today and for tomorrow. I am Bobby P. Kinzer,
And I'm Thomas Doty.
and we are the FiTT Show, helping our people get their finances in shape. What a lovely day it is, Dote. How are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing okay. I'm fighting some injuries and illnesses, but I'm glad it ain't nothing real bad, nothing I can't handle.
Well, the good thing is you can just chalk it up to just being old. And,
Some of it you can, some of it is just life, man.
well, I just want to tell you something. I saw somebody today that looked your age, and I just want to tell you, I'm so glad you don't look your age. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, around the country and around the world. We like to welcome you and let you know that we are the FiTT Show, and we provide financial information, education for all types of subjects from A to double A. We try to cover them. This is our 226th show. We've been going on for 4 years now. We'd like to thank everybody who's been participating. We got a lot of stalwarts there that has been really contributing to our show. One of the things we always mention is like we like for you to put comments in the comment box because that's how we get more traction and reach more people on Facebook. That is, and if you're on Facebook, please hit the like button, and also the little love bar. We really appreciate that. That really helps us. And we like for you to click on the heart button, and that's another place where we get a lot of traction. Now, we are in a virtual studio, and we like to make this interactive, and the best way we can is by using the comment box. So please feel free, any opinions, comments, or statements for the good, please put them in the box. And if you have any ideas for future shows, please feel free to put it in the box, and we will definitely consider it. Any questions you have right now, we address in real live time. Dope, how's everything in your world over there in South Carolina on the border of Charlotte?
Absolutely fantastic.
Okay,
A
that's
little
good.
chilly. It's a little chilly. It was in the 40s, upper 30s today, which is cold for us.
And let me tell you how cold it was here today, though.
How cold was it?
I saw politicians with his hands in his own pockets. Toot, toot, toots. So, Dope, let's go to the screen today and give the people an update on the stock market, man, because a lot of things been happening. Oh, Dope, we rolling today, dude. We
You
rolling
you,
today.
you got your stuff working today,
Got
huh?
my mojo back, Dope.
Hey, that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. Hey, it's been up and down. This has been really crazy. The market ended the year doing real well, but it's been choppy. It's been up and down these first couple of weeks of the year. You can see the S&P is for the last week is basically flat, even though for the year it's up 1%. The Nasdaq is up slightly, also up 1% for the year. And this is where it gets really kind of dicey. Microsoft has taken a big hit. It's down 4% for the year, 4.4%, I'm sorry, for the week, and down 6% for the year. And some of that is the movement of monies from the tech, particularly the Magnificent Seven, to other areas in the market that are expected to do well. And I think that's going to continue, even though I'm a Microsoft diehard. I think it's going to continue to do well. They're sitting on a bunch of cash. They got a lot of things going on in AI. They're a well-run company. I think if you were looking for something to buy, this. If I was buying right now, I'd buy some more Microsoft at this particular dip. I just think it's going to do well. Apple's been about flat for the last week. Same with Nvidia. It's up a couple of points. Google continues to do well. It's up 7%, 7 points for the week. Pfizer actually went up a little bit, just a point. Palantir's flat. United Healthcare took a little hit, and Corning glass went up. And I'm actually considering selling some of my holdings in the things that I don't consider long-term plays. And that would be Corning, United Healthcare, Pfizer. And again, this is my own personal opinion. I just see things being just really, really crazy. It's hard to find any direction in the market, what's going to happen. There's so many things outside of the market that are affecting the market right now. There's no telling where we'll be stealing presidents from, or where we'll be fighting, or what state will be fighting against federal agents. This is just some
Yeah.
crazy times. And I think like the stocks that I call my stalwarts, which would be Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, and Google. I think I'm going to hold on to them, but I may trim my holdings on the others just because I'm just a little leery of what's going to happen. I have no confidence that we're on a clear path, even with interest rates going down. The president's talking about capping credit card interest rates at 10%, and it all sounds well, but that would create turmoil in the banking industry. There's a bunch of reasons why that can't happen, or why it won't happen. And really, you can't say, oh, he'll probably never do that, because there's no telling what he may do. So I am getting very uneasy in the stock market, and I'll let you know next week if I paired some of my holdings and sitting on a little more cash. But that's where I am. I think things are crazy right now.
Yeah, they're a little bit crazy, but interesting though. The market's still been rolling along, despite the craziness. And they've been talking about a bubble for the longest. Though in my holdings, man, I had I had the GE stock, and GE used to be one big conglomerate made up of self. They even had GE Capital, the credit card, the credit side, and financing cars, and they sold that. That was the biggest money maker, and then they split the engines, aerospace. They make engines for airplanes and boats and stuff like that. And it had a reverse stock split on me in like 2017, right? And it went down to $70 a share, but it is now up to $319 a share. That's been good. Gold is really doing up. I got in gold around about, what was gold, about maybe $1,000, and now it's up to $4,600, and that's after 8 years. And silver has been holding steady, wasn't moving, but now all of a sudden it's moving every day. And I got in silver at $16 an ounce, and it is now $91 an ounce. And the stock that is sort of like NVIDIA, which is a semiconductor stock, which is NXP, a Dutch company, and I think I got that in there at 106, and that's 238. So everything is double. So it's interesting. Like we say, if you hold and be consistent, investing, it will pay off. There's other vehicles, but the market definitely um, has been given great returns if you're patient and willing to, sit it out. Let's talk about the cryptocurrency market. The market is up 4% actually. Overall, cryptocurrency is up about $133 billion. And here we go. We saw the Bitcoin go all the way down to in the 80s, 85,000, somewhere in there, and it's now up from last week, $4,750. That's up 5%. It's up from $997,000 to $95,721. Up to $95,000 though. That crypto is amazing, man. How that it just moves, so wild, swings. Ethereum is still in the second position. Tether, the stable coin, which they're getting ready to make legal, which they're going to actually regulate just that. but that's been holding as the name stablecoin. But Binance, Ripple, they keep flipping back and forth. Last week, Binance was in fourth place, and Ripple was in fourth place, and Binance was in fifth. They flipped, and Binance is now up $42, up 5% from $890 to $932. Solana is still pulling up at the sixth spot, and the top six has just been actually holding though. Now, just want to remind people, I think it's approximately 9,000 active cryptocurrency, but it's like about 45,000 cryptocurrencies all in all, but all of them are not active. So that just gives you a little idea about the cryptocurrency market. So, now I'd like to get into uh, the topic for today. Last week, by the way, our topics were um, a recap of 2025, and we hope that was helpful to individuals. But this week, we want to talk about the actual financial trends for 2026. And a lot of, like, we started talking, though, a lot of insecurities, a lot of unpredictability. So let's get into it, though.
Yeah, and Bobby, the financial landscape is just changing. It's changing very, very quickly. If you look at this year, interest rates are starting to go down. There's still a lot of AI talk. It's really becoming from just a buzzword to a tool that most people are using. And if you haven't, you ought to take some time and try to play with it. And I'll talk about it, how I've used it a little bit later. But then you got a lot of new tax rules that are out here that are effective with the 2025 year tax cycle and also next year. And so there's things you have to do to make sure you're taking advantage of those things. And obviously, you got to make sure you're doing your taxes correctly. But there's a lot of changes in that realm of what's going on tax wise. And a lot of people are now getting their side hustle on because of things they can do in AI. Okay. And sometimes there's also Ubers and Uber Eats and delivering and all that stuff. But there's also a lot of people who are doing things in tech and online with help from AI. So there's just a lot of things going on in this financial landscape. And hopefully you can listen to us talk about these trends and then determine how you can take best advantage of those to improve your own personal situation.
Though the major trend is AI, and that's why a lot of stocks in that arena are doing so well. And they talk about an AI bubble at some point in time. But the thing about AI, though, and it's so interesting, um, especially older people who really don't get into technologies that seem to stray away from that. AI is a powerful tool, man, in so many different levels. But using AI to simplify money management is also going to be a useful tool. It boosts, excuse me, security and can catch most mistakes before they happen. Believe it or not. And then the other thing about the trends, though, look at today's yields, higher yields, and review your borrowing strategy before the rates drop any further, because the rates they are projecting to drop further. And if you can lock in, to a high yield at 4 or 5%, for 6 months or a year or longer, that's going to be pretty good because you're going to be ahead of the game. And you need to turn skills into income. And with AI powering these tools, it can help you with definitely these side hustles, man. Um, it's so important. That people who are freelancing and have small business owners, they be able to move around a lot quicker and plan ahead for new tax rules. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But Dope, before I go into it, can you just give an example how you use AI to kind of give you an idea of what was going on with your knee? And it was just,
Yeah,
I was shocked that you could use AI like that too.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. My knee started bothering me during Christmas, and I've basically been blessed and don't have any physical ailments. I go to the gym every day and work out, but I woke up one day in New York City with my knee was twice the size, and I couldn't walk on it. I had no idea what was going on, and went to urgent care, got it checked out, and they gave me some medicine. So I'm still in the process of finding out what was going on. But my son said, "Hey, why don't you run your stuff into AI and see and Chat GPT and see what it says?" And I, you put in your age. It'll ask you a bunch of questions about where is it swollen, what's the pain like, is it puffy or is it hard, is it warm, just all kinds of questions. It'll keep asking you questions as you go along, and it kind of determined that it was a ligament that had irritated, and it said it'll take several weeks for the swelling to go away. And so I've had a couple little incidents with it, but finally went to an orthopedic and got an MRI done. So I had that done this week. So Monday, I'll find out the results of the MRI. And I'm really, really curious to see how accurate the AI is compared to what actually happens. But it's amazing. Like, I was taking one med and I'd ask AI, is it okay to take this med with the med I'm already taking? And it'll explain why you should or why you shouldn't, what the complications could be. It'll ask you for dosages. It'll ask you things about your personal to help it determine what you should be doing. It's really amazing. If you haven't used it, you should take a shot at it. And lot of information there. And again, it's no guarantee that it's going to be 100% right, but it gives you a lot of really good information. And I'll definitely let you know what happens with my knee. But I found several uses for it just in things regarding health and working out and developing a program, an exercise program to use, and how much you should do, how much you shouldn't do. It's pretty amazing, Bob, if you haven't tried it.
No, I have, because I was writing a financial education program, right, for a company, and I have all the information from PowerPoints and that I've written works. I got all this data that I can pull, though. But I said, let me try to put in there and ask, AI, what would be a good outline for insurance and asset protection. And it just pop, 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 pop. All the things I had already written, it just is summarized what I already knew, and I didn't have to go back through each PowerPoint and cut and paste and pull it out. So, to you all, and we're going to get into it more. Go ahead and get into it more, though, about the moves with AI.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's really changing. It's not just powering chatbots anymore. It's embedded in everyday money tools like budgeting apps that can predict your spending. Robo advisors are using AI to tailor portfolios for people, and bank apps that can give you fee alerts and optimize your cash, and it can help you flag fraud sooner. And so, as we get into 2026, AI is going to be embedded in finance, biometric security. They're going to be all standard features. And why does it matter? Well, smarter automation can help you find leaks in your financial plan. Like, it can help make sure you don't have any late fees. It can make sure it gets rid of unused subscriptions, make sure you're optimizingly using your idle cash. And you can get personalized stuff to help you keep your own finances on track. And, it could be automatically putting extra cash to help pay off debts or to get invested. It can help you do that. And from a fraud detection, now there's two sides to the fraud detection side, because the crooks are also using it, but
Right.
you can also use it to help you detect fraud with biometric authentication that can help make your account more secure. So what you should do is look at some of these planning tools that can help you track your spending. It can help you set your goals, help you stay on course. And there are a lot of digital tools out there that has all these advanced algorithms and AI-driven features to make investing simpler and make your security better. And so strengthening security is going to help with your pass keys, your biometrics, account alerts, all those things to help you keep your money safe and keep on top and stay away from the fraudsters.
It's amazing how powerful it is. Now, Clutch McCargo, who's on, who's definitely worked for companies like Verizon and worked on, you know, tech stuff for the Navy. And he said, found AI has to be fact checked because it's only as good as the information inputted into the programs. And that's a very good point, Clutch, because one of the downsides of AI, though, is they say it's schizophrenic. And what's the other thing? And it hallucinates. So,
Yeah, and Bob, you say that, but it's no different. Doctors need to be fact checked.
right.
Okay, I mean every doctor who tells you something, people get bad information from doctors. So yeah, that's no different than real life. Everything need to be to make sure it passes the common sense test.
Yeah. And I don't mean to go there, but they may need to use AI on some preachers too, because they need to be fact checked. So anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is interest rates, right? Interest rates may move lower. That's what they're saying, you all. So what's changing? After the end of the Fed's 2025 cuts, right, the forecasts point to gradually lower rates into 2026 with 30-year mortgage projected, check this out, though, to end in 2026 around 5.9%. And right now, they're around 6 or 7, in the 6 or 7% range. So, you know, that's pretty good stuff, right? Now, the short-term yields are also expected to decline if the easing cycle continues. That means today's best cash yields may not last. Now, why is this important? Saving yields may slip. Rates on savings accounts, which is already down, we're talking about high yield, CDs, and money markets typically fall after the Fed cuts, and they are planning to have more cuts, by the way. Now, borrowing may ease, though. That's the good thing. Low mortgage and loan rates could create opportunities to refinance, or you can buy with confidence, you know, and it becomes, you know, a buyer's market. Now, be aware of the risks associated with changing interest rates. Like falling rates can increase reinvestment risk and can impact bond returns. Like consider looking at, a CD or bond ladder. A CD ladder, like you can just stagger, like get a 6 months CD, then a 1 year CD, and a 12-month CD, and that's called the CD ladder. And they got bond ladders like that too, because it helps balance your liquidity and helps balance the yields that you are exposed to. Now, running the numbers on refinances is very important. If your mortgage or other loans carry high interest rates, you need to consider whether financing could lower your monthly costs. And you need to really look into that. And people that have bonds like me and Dope, and I know some other people that too, you need to revisit your bond strategy, clarifying what role you want your bonds to play in your portfolio because of the future risks, interest rates that are uncertainty. You really need to look at what position that you are holding your bonds.
Yeah, the next thing we mentioned this previously is the side hustle economy, and starting the side hustle now is becoming a lot easier because AI powered tools, it can handle a lot of things that people would have difficulty with, things like invoicing, preparing proposals, and even marketing. Those are things that a lot of people would have trouble with, but now you can pop it in the AI and get information out that is very professional and definitely hits the point. So why does it matter? Well, that makes it easier to get started. So you can really get into a business much easier. You can easily generate contacts, and that can help you launch quickly. And you can automate tasks, things like bookkeeping or editing. A lot of those things can produce productivity that you didn't have at your fingertips before. So if you got the time and you got the inclination, think about starting a side hustle. Maybe it's consulting, design, tutoring, freelancing. Those are some of the popular ones that people are jumping on now. And they can be relevant across many different levels, areas of expertise. And so maybe it's time for you to think about it just to make some extra money. And what you find is AI is automating a lot of the boring stuff. Some tools can help you, like invoice, expense tracking, taxes. So you can focus on the things you're good at. A lot of people who usually get in business are good at a specific thing, but not so much on the business side of things. But with AI, you can use that to take care of those kind of things for you. So you can just focus on whatever it is you're good at. And so things you got to think about is think about setting aside a fixed percentage of money for taxes. That's about 30% for freelancers. If you start in a business, make sure you are set up to pay Uncle Sam, and at the same time, you still want to make sure you're saving and investing for your future. And you got to have health care. If you have access to a healthcare savings account, consider putting money in there. Save for emergencies. We always talk about that. Freelance income, it can be uneven. Sometimes it can be rolling like crazy. Sometimes it isn't. So try to have some extra in case things aren't going well and you end up running into a lull period and things aren't going as you wish. Make sure you got some money put away. And finally, you can use that extra money to help with your retirement. You can use tax advantage options, 401ks, SEP, RIAs, and a lot of ways you can use that extra money to make sure your retirement is going to be okay, but it'll help reduce your taxable income if they're tax advantaged accounts. And finally, you can invest for growth. Once you got your taxes, your savings, your money, emergency money put away, you can start doing some long-term investing for growth, just consistent, constant investing, putting money away, and maybe taking a little more risk with some extra money to get a little higher return. But those are the things you can do with the side hustle and a little bit of extra money.
Hey, Doe, our good friend Dean Alexander down there in Atlanta, Georgia, he said AI can assist with a business plan development.
Exactly.
Which is essential, man. And it's really, Doe, I'm telling you, I used it today and I was like, and I've used it before, and it's like, it's almost unreal, man, because it seemed like sometimes I've received things because of my book, right?
Mm-hmm.
I receive these people who critique my book and want to help me expand, my market to the people out there. And I was reading it, and I'm like, man, this thing's really good. And it's almost like they were in my head, but I'm like, wait a minute. They just took what I wrote and put it in AI, and AI came out better. So it's such a powerful tool, you all. I mean, I don't sound so excited about it, but.
And Bob, that used to be one of the telltale signs of fraudulent letters that you got, because a lot of times they come from foreign country and they would have grammatical errors, and you could pretty easily identify that it wasn't legit. But now with AI, they can make it grammatically correct,
right,
professional. They can make it sound absolutely real. So you really have to be careful. I'm never going to stop harping on being on the lookout for fraudulent activity. And the magic things we always say. If it seems like it's too good to be true, it probably is. You know, don't trust people you don't know. If you don't know who's calling you, don't answer the phone. And some of the crazy, um, some of the crazier scams are people calling you, telling you there's people delivering dope to your house, or your address was used in a dope deal, and they'll give you a badge number and a case number. And I'm saying that because I had that happen to me. Somebody
Wow.
called me and said that. And it sounds really convincing, but don't even talk to those folks. That's not how it works. So if you don't know who's calling you, don't hang up. Don't click no links. Don't get no packages that you ain't expecting, and scan the QR code because that could cause trouble. Stay diligent when it comes to fraudulent activity. AI is just making it better.
Modestine down there in South Carolina said, "You can't trust people you know." Sorry to hear that, Modestine. But the new tax rules, it's some small changes, but real money. Now, in July the 4th, 2025, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the OBA, makes many 2017 tax provisions permanent and introduces several changes effective in 2026. So you really need to seek some tax advice, everybody, because some things could, affect you. For instance, the charitable giving floor, the OBA set a new floor for, higher earners of 0.5% of the taxpayer's contribution base. This is generally the AGI, the adjusted gross income based on that, which must be reached before itemized charitable gifts become deductible. That means formerly fully deductible charity contributions now must be reduced by 0.5% for individuals' contribution base for the next tax year. Now, itemized cap for higher earners, once again, benefits the rich people, real wealthy people. A new cap on the tax value of itemized deductions for top earners tax it's also in effect in 2026. The new legislation caps the tax benefits of itemized charitable deductions at 35% for those in the highest tax bracket, which is at about 37%, which is actually at 37%. Now, the charitable deduction for non-itemizers starting in 2026, even if you take the standard deduction, right, you can claim up to $1,000 as single filers or $2,000 as joint filers for gifts to qualified charities. Why does this matter? Why is it important? Some donors in middle income levels could lose deductibility because they're under the new adjusted gross income floor. Higher earners may receive reduced benefits due to the new itemization cap for those in the highest marginal tax bracket. So people who take the standard deduction may now qualify for another deduction for charitable contributions. Now, just want you to consider, if you want to update your giving plan, if you itemize, talk to your tax advisors about accelerating gifts. Well, it's kind of late now for 2005. Hey, Doe, can you still before April the 26th, April 15, 26, still do things as far as contributions?
To contributions to
Like
IRA,
say it again. You
IRA.
yes. No,
Yeah,
no, no, not RAs, like gifts. That if you want to accelerate gifts so that you can take that advantage of that on your taxes.
yeah. I thought December 31st was the deadline for gifts. Certain
Okay,
things, December 31st is the deadline, and then certain things April 15th, like Roth conversions is December 31st.
right,
IRA is April 15th or whenever the last day of taxes. So you
right,
really, those are things you really should check with your tax advisor just to be sure.
right.
I think the gift has to be by the end of the year.
Okay. Now, want to talk about the W-4s because this is important, you all. With all the upcoming tax changes, your itemization strategy may shift. So you need to look at and revisit your W-4 could help ensure that you don't over withhold. That could give you more money to save and spend throughout the year, but it will be a smaller tax refund at the time. But
But it's
really,
your money. Don't let them hold your money.
don't let them use your money when you can use your own money. You know, I used to be people like, oh man, I got a good chunk back. I said, man, that's your money. Your money. They've been using it all year. But
Yep.
but review because a lot of people under the um, uh, when the tax law changed got hit because they were um, wasn't withholding enough actually and got hit and taking all these deductions and stuff. So seek tax advice, you all.
Yeah, and before I just want to mention a couple of things about AI again, because I've joked about the jobs disappearing because of AI, and right now there's not a lot of evidence that AI is destroying or eliminating a whole bunch of jobs, of white collar jobs, but there are some developments that are making it look like things are going to disappear. I mean, there's one report by Goldman Sachs that said AI can potentially automate tasks that account for 25% of all work hours in the US. And that's pretty significant exposure. That's a lot of jobs that could disappear permanently. And so, again, there's nothing definitive that says that's going to happen, but they did a report of saying what AI can do. And the next thing is another study said they built this tool. It's called Claude Code, a new product called Cowork, which allows others to use AI for workplace tasks normally done by humans. And that creates presentations, summarizes meetings, consolidates research. And you read that right. They use AI, built on AI, that will displace human work with AI. And you think about that's kind of scary too. And
Very.
if you listen to some of these top tech leaders talk privately about, there was a big fuss about these H-1B visas, which would allow them to bring in foreign companies to these tech companies from overseas, bringing this overseas talent. And they aren't fussing about that anymore because they're thinking AI can do that work. That was a big point of contention they had for a while. And the Wall Street Journal reported that a hot new San Francisco startup has hired more than 30,000 contractors to recruit specialists from psychologists to dermatologists to train AI to do their jobs. And think about that for a minute. It's got all these people to train AI to do their job. And the company got a $10 billion valuation for a reason, right? And finally, the crazy Elon Musk in one of his podcasts says AI is good enough today to replace half of white collar jobs. And he also argued it's pointless to go to medical school except for social reasons. He says robots within 3 years are going to be doing all the surgeries. Now, I don't know if any of that's true, but that's just some of the thinking that's out there about AI. So just passing along information, something to think about. And so finally, just kind of to close the loop on what we're talking about today, as far as AI and what's coming in these trends, a lot of things are happening in 2026. Now's the time to position yourself for this coming year. You know, Bob mentioned locking in your higher interest rates if you can before they go away. Find some ways to put AI to work where it can save you time, where it can save you money, where it can help you safeguard your assets, or maybe even help you make some extra money on the side. You can use it to help you with your long-term investments. It's also very important to look at your tax strategy. Before the new rules are in effect for 20. Some are in effect for 2025, and there's some more for 2026. Take a look at those. Make sure you're optimizing your tax situation. You're taking advantage of everything that's available to you. And it's very easy to put your hand in the sand and not pay attention to what's out there and possibly miss out on saving some money, or worse yet, make some mistakes in your taxes and end up owing penalties and interest. So take the time, get off the couch, stop watching TV, spend some time working on your plan for 2026, taking advantage of what's available to you, and get yourself on the right path to increase your wealth in 2026.
And it's no better time than now to do a review if you haven't done a review of your financial situation. This is no better time than now because you don't want to be reacting and running around or doing a fire drill when stuff start happening. I just want to remind people because I know a bunch of people who are have their 401k plans or their employee sponsored plans are really in a high um, risk uh, um, equities, like international stocks. Even though international stocks are actually doing better than a lot of,
They're doing better than the U.S.
yeah,
Yeah.
they do in the U.S. But the thing about international stocks, they're so risky. You can make 70% in a month and turn around and lose 70% the next month. But really look at your 401k plans, your employee sponsored plans, and look and make sure you have the right mix. Make sure you have the right mix in your, because you don't want to be too high risk, and because the name of the game is no one can predict what the future holds. But if something happens, at least you can be able to absorb the shock if you positioned yourself with the right, mix and having your assets in a protection mode where you won't take that bigger hit. I mean, don't nobody really know what's going on, but at least you can protect some of what you have by just reviewing what you got. Now, if you're a big risk taker, then and you can take it, then let it ride. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not, really make sure you have it, your asset allocation according to your risk, so you can sleep at night.
And Bob, to that point, if you are close to retirement, if you're close to paying for junior's college, if you are close to buying a house, those aren't the type of dollars you should have in a high risk situation. Especially if you're close to retirement, you don't want to have your money at risk for a big loss where something crazy happens and now your retirement is off track, or now you don't have money to pay for college, or now you don't have money to buy that house. So when you get close to having to make money that you're going to use in the short term, try not to have it at risk. Okay? Try not to have it at risk.
Hey, Dope. So, Dope, tell me what you feel about what I'm getting ready to say. Now, you heard what Dope said, right? If you're going to be needing the money in a year or two, don't be taking no major risks. But what I want to say, Dope, is, I don't want to sound like contrarian, but at the same time, if you have not been building wealth, you have not been increasing your net worth, how do you feel about it, though? Should a person totally retreat and take no risk, or should you, if you have a good risk balance, but what I'm trying to say is, I think you still need to invest and work on future um, building of your wealth.
Well, again, there's no one right answer for everybody, but I think I can unequivocally say don't have money heavily invested in risky things that you expect to use in the short term. But by the same token, yeah, you shouldn't have all your money in a non-interest bearing checking account. So
Right.
there's a lot in between a non-interest bearing checking account and a very risky portfolio. And that's the key, is finding out where you are in that spectrum. And again, you have different pockets of money. If it's money that you're going to use in the near future, you don't want to have that at risk to market volatility, to a war breaking out, to a hurricane. You don't want to have that money at risk. But that shouldn't be all the money that you have. And so I'm just talking about the money you're going to need for specific reasons. You shouldn't have it at risk. And I say, don't have, if you're about to retire, don't have the bulk of your money in something risky where it's going to throw your retirement off schedule if the market takes a big hit. It's not unusual for the market to drop by 20%. If that's going to have an unfavorable effect on your portfolio, then you shouldn't have a lot of money invested in the market. Again, there's that spectrum of zero risk, crazy risk. You have to find out where you are in that spectrum. And that's different for everybody. And it's different for different pockets of money within your own personal situation. Again, money for college, which might be when you're in your 45 to 50 age, versus money for retirement, which is when you're talking in your 60 to 70 range. The money that you're saving for retirement should be taking some risk, because you're not, if you're 40 to 50, because you're not going to be using that money in the short term. So I hope that answers your question. It depends on the time frame. The longer the time frame, the more risk you should take.
Right, right. So, and that's why I said, don't think I'm contradicting Doe when Doe said, you need to make sure you look at your risks and don't be out there taking no big risks. But at the same, and that's the whole thing, Doe. It's
Depends
all
on the
about a
time
balance.
frame. Depends on the time. Depends on the time frame.
It depends on the time frame, and it's a balance, y'all. That's what we try to get. And we say this all the time. Sometimes not taking no risk at all is taking a risk, man, because cost of goods are going to start going up, and it's going to eat through your savings. It's going to eat through your emergency fund. That's another thing, that I want to remind people in the trends going forward. I truly believe you should add a little bit more to your emergency fund too in these times. How do you feel about that, though?
I just think things are going to be crazy for a while. If I was working right now, I'd be real nervous, just because of layoffs, because of AI, because of just uncertainty in the market. And I'm a conservative kind of worrywart kind of person anyway. So if this is the only time I've ever been a little bit happy of being old, that I don't have to worry about a job.
Right.
But I mean, I still have a pension at risk. I have Social Security at risk. I have investments at risk. So I'm not immune from worry. But if I was working right now, I'd definitely be making sure I'm enhancing my skills. I'm increasing my marketability. I got money put away in case something happens, because right now things are crazy. Things are really, really crazy.
And though, and I want to bring up another point before we get off here. A lot of people on this show are reaching the age limit where they have to make a decision whether they're going to take their Social Security. Matter of fact, Kitty just put a message in there. Social Security just gave us 2.6 for 2026. Yeah, thank you. Look, inflation done ate that already.
And the Medicare increase.
You're right. And you're right, though. But for those people who are reaching, to make that decision, really, really, really look at and that decision, because some people say don't want to pull the trigger on the Social Security, And because every year you go from 62 to whatever your retirement age is, it's
So,
eight,
yeah,
eight,
every year from 62 to 70 that you hold off, you get 8%. You make 8%.
right.
Your payout goes up by 8%. And
But
again, that's another decision that's individual decision. If you don't need the money, and again, yeah, I'd have to know everybody's particular situation. I can just speak for myself. If I had to do it, I took mine at full retirement age, which was 66. But if I had it to do over, I think I would have waited and I would have taken money out of my tax deferred and took that as income, which would reduce the amount of RMDs I'll have to pay at 73. And I would have let the Social Security grow by 8%. Now, fortunately, I did real good in the market, so I probably topped the 8% that my money would have made.
right,
I left it in there.
right,
But everybody ain't as lucky as I am, and everybody's situation is different. Because you got people saying, well, they're going to end up cutting it by 30%, so I want to get as much as I can right now.
right,
We don't know if that's going to happen. It's a possibility. All I know is if you do the math, they running out of money. Okay, that ain't up for debate. And the only way you can get more money into that pot is to reduce what goes out or increase what goes in. That ain't opinion. That's fact. They're going to run out of money probably in 2031, 2032. Now, should that make you take your money out sooner? I don't know. It depends on your own personal situation.
right. And we always say that. So let's go to the video. Let's go to the takeaways and the summary of the day's show. Because once again, we dropped a lot and we are up and running today, Dope. So I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, Dope. So let's kick this off with the summary and takeaways. And I'll go first, Dope.
Okay.
Position yourself for the year. That's what we talk about. Review yourself and make sure you get yourself in the right investment posture that you can, no matter what happens, we can't predict, but at least you be able to absorb any type of shocks, financial shocks that may come from all of these uncertainties dealing with the administration and dealing with, the cost of goods, inflation, and interest rates. So position yourself and make sure that you actually, for example, lock into high yields now.
Yeah. Number two, use AI. Put it to work for you. Use it to save you time. Use it to save you money. Use it to improve documents you're writing. Use it to analyze what you're doing in life. Make use of it. Don't just hear about it. Use it.
Don't just hear about it, be about it. Turn extra income into long-term investments. We always talk about the side hustle, and I'm telling you all, I know we're wearing this thing about AI, but AI is even helping with the side hustles of what a lot of time you have to put work and research in. You can use AI to create and help your side hustle, and then take that extra income and like we say, if you're in for the long haul, you don't need it in the next year or two, put it into long-term investments.
And finally, make sure you're on top of your tax situation. Review
Oh,
your
yeah.
tax strategies to take advantage of these new rules. Make sure you're paying as little as legally possible of your tax bill. Get on top of it. Try to find a way to optimize your tax situation.
Yeah. So as usual, that is a lot of information we gave you all today, and we hope it was useful to everybody. Dope. We have a live conversation today in the chat box, in the comment box. A lot of people giving comments, and we really thank everybody. And look, Dope, I got to tell you, Mo Better, she was on early today. Way to go, Mo Better. Love you, girl. Glad you got on. And we want to give out the shout out to everybody. And the first person up, and he always is the first one up on time, is my brother, Carl Chapman. glad to see you there, front and center. Garnett, glad to see you, my dear. Mo Better, thank you for one. Dote, our Alpha Phi Alpha brother, Charles Clutch McCargo. And Clutch was saying, look, he said it's going to be rough, so you better be ready. And I love that saying. And he said he's just trying to live within his means. Rodney L. Madison Sr., the noteexperience.com. Go out there and check out on Rodney, because Rodney made a comment. There's always contractual debt and mortgage-backed notes. You're going to have to let us know more about what is contractual debt and why that's important for mortgage-backed securities, Rodney. Dope, family on the line. What's up, Deborah Doty?
D, what's happening?
Yes, Joanne Skinner, always a winner. Love you, girl. And Joanne, am I right? Are you just retired or you retired? Let us know in the comment box. Modestine, Lexington, Kentucky. My good brother, the almighty Georgetown University's finest, Michael Graham, 1984, on the front of Sports Illustrated slamming. What's up, Michael Graham? Don't give a damn, my man. Glad to see you on, buddy. Kitty Cheney, thank you, Kitty, for that Social Security update that we're going to be getting 2.4%. Appreciate that. My wonderful sister Nolia, glad to see you on today. And Dino, our boy Dino down.
What's up, Dean?
What's up, Dean? And my wonderful sister Linda, glad to see you on, my dear. Love you dearly. And I think I covered everybody. We got, Garnett. Can't forget you, Garnett. Thank you, dear. And look, Glow. He's trying to sneak. My sister Gloria, they all three on today. Gloria just trying to sneak in. I see that time frame you got in, Gloria. Don't even try. But she says, hi, Bob and Doty. My sister, I love them so much, man. They be supporting us like I don't know what. Ain't no nothing like a Kenza woman. I just got to tell you that, man. You ain't had no woman. Oh, okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, Joanne, you did. I thought Joanne just retired, though, in December 31st. Congratulations. Dope. My quote for the week is, stop asking the clown, why is he acting like a clown? And ask yourself, why do you keep going to the circus? I'll leave y'all with that. Look, we here. I told a bunch of people, though, I lied. I told them the show today was going to be the little lies we tell ourselves. And I done told a lie, but we're going to hit y'all back with the little lies we tell ourselves about money, because that's pretty interesting. You need to stop telling yourself those lies. Dope. Always a great show, man. Love you, my brother. We see you all next week. Same channel, 8 p.m. And please go out there and share on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. And Dope, I've been watching the social media this week. Oh my God, wait a minute. Kitty just retired too in 20. Look, I thought Kitty would never retire from the FDIC, though. Kitty just retired the 31st also. Congratulations, Kitty. I wish you all the best. Well deserved. Kitty used to be on the investment side and then work for FDIC on the Kitty, help me with division of help me out, Kitty. What was that? Supervision. Thank you, supervision. So thank you all. So see y'all next week. Make sure you tune in, let people know. And yes, though, I'm about to share now. Okay, Mo Better, what you sharing? I'm about to share now. What you going to share? Oh, you want to share the information? Thanks, Mo. Thanks for sharing the information. I see what you're saying out here. And the Clutch talk about, is this mic on? That's right. Thank you. So see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.